going on YouTube? Hitterback making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP to US dollar. We're also going to be looking at Dudex as well as the current coin market cap. Specifically in today's episode, I also want to talk about Binance Coin. Since we know that the markets have been fairly stagnant and trading sideways the past couple of days, I took it upon myself to start looking at some other altcoins while we're in this off season, while cryptocurrencies are trading fairly slow. It gives us time to start looking at other cryptocurrencies and figure out whether or not we might have some other chances of better investments. Otherwise, definitely make sure to check out the stock market as well, because the stock market is going up fairly high, which is very interesting. I'm even hearing rumors now of potential correction to the downside, another potential break to the downside. I'm thinking closer to November. Obviously, as these moving average, obviously as the MACD closes in and gets closer to there, we'll find out whether or not we'll get rejected. And at the same time, if we hit this top resistance, we'll know they're probably due for another correction to the downside. But very interesting. A second wave could be coming. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. This does help out the YouTube algorithm. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, CryptoVOfficial. And let's jump into today's episode. Alright, so yesterday I made a video basically discussing the XRP, Ripple, and Bitcoin price prediction you should watch. As you guys clearly could tell by the thumbnail and in the video, I did discuss a lot of cryptocurrencies are hitting their resistance and hitting their bottom support and kind of getting funneled into what appears to be like a couple days left in the gap. And then as they close the gap, we should be experiencing some sort of bigger volume movement. Now you can see on Bitcoin, coins that we've been waiting for, there's been just flatline stagnant trading over and over and over again. Yes, this one was slightly higher when we broke from, which was $9,000 up to 9,200, and then we went all the way up to 94, but now we're back down at 9,200. There's really been very minimal trading, anywhere between, I'd say, 9,000 and 94. All of this right here, down here, and right here. It's just not much money to be made off a price that's really not moving much at all. You can even see on the other cryptocurrencies like XRP now caught in between its moving average, and Ethereum, which is inside of its gap. Even Litecoin hitting its moving average. A lot of signs are showing bearish movements. They're showing that we've hit the end, as you're seeing right now on the 44, that we've hit the end, and it looks like we're due to correct lower. That's ultimately the signs that we're getting, and it looks to me like it wants to correct to the downside. The problem remains that even in this market, we're not really getting any volume. I mean, a lot of people could have said back in the past here that, well, okay, this is the end of it, now we're going to see the pop. But it hasn't happened yet. Even XRP breaking bullish outside of its resistance was fairly interesting. Today's the last day to see this. Who knows? We may close XRP's candle above the resistance. Very possible. Very, very, very unlikely, but it is still possible. And it seems like that's what might actually happen, given that there's only 12 hours left today. We'll see whether or not we get a sudden surge of volume that sends us lower down in the price. If we continue to hang out in between the moving average, it'll be very interesting. A lot of questions will be answered at the end of today as we start tomorrow, Monday's new charting. Specifically, Ethereum, like I said, trading into its gap right here, probably going to be rejected, as it always is on its downtrend. You can clearly see the resistances here, its resistance here, and then here, and now for the fourth or fifth time right there as we're getting sandwiched into that gap. Mainly the things to consider is in the fact that given this time of, downtrend, given this time of like sideways trading, given the time of flatline movements where we're not really seeing much pumping and much dumping, we're just seeing trades up or down or, positive at most 1% or negative at most 1%, negative 1%. Really not seeing much movements at all. The only thing that stands out is Binance Coin, which seems to be up 6.7. So I did pull up Binance Coin here to, discuss and do some trades with. But before I do that, guys, definitely make sure to be preparing yourself. Don't take the markets trading sideways as a time to just forget about crypto, like it's over, like there's no real reason or rhyme to get involved in cryptocurrency. This should be a time for you guys to be preparing yourselves. And how do we do that? We would be, obviously setting up an exchange, setting up an account, having money funded into an exchange, into an account. Preferably I use Dudex, but it is up to you. Basically, get yourselves ready, have, some money involved into these accounts. I do have money in here. I'm not sure why it's not showing. Oh, you can see it right here. You can see, I do have money invested into my account to gain some ground, that when this pop does happen, if this coin, and you can see Bitcoin's right here, does decide to break bearish and does decide to start to correct to the downside, I'll have money already ready to capitalize off the movement and get the best position possible. You don't want to buy in late and end up screwing yourself. And in order to resolve that issue, it'd be, signing up and preparing yourselves. And I did link Dudex in the description down below. And they are giving, I think, up to $70 in free sign-up bonus. I also have my Patreon where I do post my trades. And I know the markets are going a little stagnant right now, but very soon I will be, it will become very useful. Now, don't think that I'm slacking on that right now. Of course, I am still posting stuff on my Patreon, posting trades that are definitely possible. And I am obviously taking into consideration some ideas of getting involved in another altcoin tier. The odds that we can, in movements like this, transition over to altcoins that still seem to be fairly profitable when Bitcoin is bearish or stagnant is a great opportunity to continue to make profitable trades. So definitely make sure to check that out as well. That link is also in the description. But specifically Binance Coin, a coin that probably a lot of you have some questions about. So the first thing I do is jump to the weekly. You can see I have no lines on here at all. And I'm going to extend this out. And clearly, by visualizing this, you can see there are some patterns on here that seem to be fairly obvious. Like this one that I'm drawing currently seems to be fairly obvious. This seems to be the bottom uptrend. Even though we did break a little bit below it here, for the most part, we have been using it fairly successfully. Even if I move this up and then corrected this down ever so slightly, for the most part, it seems like this is what the coin rides on. So it does have a bottom support that does gradually lift the price of the coin higher and higher. Now what we look for is some sort of resistance. Clearly we can draw these horizontal resistances. Clearly there's one right here. Now I'm not even looking into the future here. I'm looking at its past, and I can clearly see this is one. So I would draw that right here. This is a clear resistance that the price has hit multiple times. And if we now fast forward, you can see that the price is actually having issues with that. Lastly, I would draw on some sort of downwards trend line, and I would pay close attention to what exactly is forming right now. This looks honestly very similar to the other cryptocurrencies. I think I would say, is it Ethereum? Maybe Ethereum, if I zoomed out on Ethereum to the weekly. Hopefully this looks fairly similar to Binance. You can see it does have a very similar trend. Ethereum, Binance, Ethereum, and then Binance. Regardless, you get that the patterns are very, very, very similar, and that does help us trade on cryptocurrencies. It also is showing me that Binance is looking a little bit oversold too, and it is a good chance it's not actually going to be heading up much higher. And here exactly is my reason for why that is happening. You can clearly see the weekly on the daily RSI is actually overbought, and as we get rejected from there, there's a good chance we're going to correct lower. So everybody who's been buying in and capitalizing off of Binance Coin's movement anticipates some consolidation to the downside. Not only is the coin hitting its resistance, its downtrend, it's stuck between its moving average, and there's a good chance rejection is going to follow that, as it most normally does. The only thing I would say is the coin needs to fill its gap, so I would anticipate prices at some point in the future for Binance Coin hitting 11.70 or $11.70. Now this is Binance Coin to US dollar. It is calculated, but I would assume that the Binance to Bitcoin charts are fairly similar, which means that get ready to either short the coin as of today. Honestly, this looks like a great short. If you guys were interested, definitely make sure to short this. My specific trades on this coin will be linked in my Patreon down below, so definitely feel free to check this out, because this looks like a great opportunity to see some sort of rejection in price from Binance. Lastly, looking at Bitcoin and the other cryptos, they just look like with this flag that there are, the bull flag, that there is going to be some sort of correction lower. And then S&P 500 just looks great. Ultimately, we look great. I don't see why this would be an issue. The fact that we're heading up even higher, just consider the fact that there are rumors of us breaking bearish again and seeing a big drop, stock market crash, whatever. Otherwise, that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. If you're new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, CryptoTheOfficial, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Peace.